Hello, and welcome to Women in Business, where we interview entrepreneurs and senior managers and show you the strengths, successes, obstacles, and roadblocks women experience in business. Since I believe every person in business needs to be visible, I'd like to invite you to watch www.sob6, that's the number 6, tips.com, which will give you some valuable information should you get the call to be on radio or TV, which I think is extremely important. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at Gayle Carson, that's Gayle, GayleCarson13 at gmail.com, or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everyone. This is Gayle Carson, and I have an interesting lady with me today for my Women in Business show. Her name is Sieg, and she is a digital marketer who has now transitioned into a very interesting and exciting area because it's one that's growing and growing and growing. And she is now teaching people how to be a third-party person working with Amazon. So I would assume that means people who want to sell their products on Amazon but don't know how. So let's welcome Ann and find out exactly what it is that she does do. So welcome, Ann, to the show.
All right. Well, thank you. I really appreciate being invited in and excited to share some information with your listeners.
So am I correct in saying that that means if I wanted to sell something on Amazon and I did not know how to do it, that you would be able to teach me how to do such a thing?
Yes, correct. And I want to qualify that there's a lot of different ways to source products to be an Amazon third-party seller, a very, very wide range. And that's the biggest question people have is, am I going to have a product that actually sells? And will I actually make a profit? And so whether they come into the Amazon marketplace with their own products, or they're more so, wow, I hear this thing is just blowing up. How do I get started? Where do I even know where to begin to find products? So we start people at a really basic fundamental level so that they have as much leverage and assurance as possible that what they're doing is going to actually work. Because there's many stories abound where people, they went off to get their one-hit wonder from China. They got a whole container full and spent $30,000 or some such thing, and they found out, oops, it's not selling. So that is a model that has many more variables and more likelihood of point of failure, is when you start with that big one-hit wonder versus we start our members off with the arbitrage method.
And explain what an arbitrage method is.
Okay, so arbitrage means to buy low and sell high, just like what people hear in the real estate industry is you buy property low, you fix it up, you flip it around to sell. It's one of many different real estate business models, but so buy low, sell high. So with products, what you do is find products at a lower price than what they're currently selling for on Amazon. So we actually teach 3 different arbitrage methods because they're each different with different nuances. One is local retail arbitrage, and that one has the absolute highest level of predictability. And so what that means is you download the Amazon seller app on your phone, and it's free. It's made by Amazon, and it's made for this purpose. You download it on your phone. You do need to have an Amazon seller account set up through Seller Central is what it's called. And that's a monthly fee, gives you a store with all the benefits of being an Amazon seller. Or you can start off with an account where you're just paying 99 cents for each shipment. So once you hit 30 shipments, you really need to go into just the monthly at that point. But anyways, it's very easy to get going on Amazon. But you start with this free app. And it's very exciting to demonstrate because all you do is scan a product where it has a UPC code, which that's that little bar system that you see on the back of a product. So right now, as I'm in front of my computer, I have a Burt's Bees Natural Lip Shine. And they sell these on Amazon, and they are a hot seller. So I could just hold my phone up to it, scan it, and it will do this kind of little buzz. And basically, it's just picking up the data off of that UPC code, and it searches in microseconds to see if it's on the Amazon catalog. if it's actually in their store. And Burt's Bees is, for a fact, it's on Amazon. And then what it's going to do is bring up these different data points that are very, very important. It's going to, in green, it will show you the profit. Not everything has a profit, but that's the one main thing you're going to want to know. But you also want to know things like, what's the sales velocity? How fast is it selling? What's the demand? Because the whole name of the game in arbitrage and in selling on Amazon is all about velocity, and it's making your dollar work harder for you and as fast as possible. So the faster your dollar turns through a sale, like let's say it lands in the warehouse and it sells, boom, you got your profit. Take your profit, you reinvest, albeit you get paid every 2 weeks from Amazon. So that's essentially, I tell people, yeah, you're a seller, but you're really an investor. You're investing in products that will flip and sell and make you money. So it's, I don't like to use the term mini ATM machine, but it's kind of sort of like that. You put in your 10 bucks, you've done all the data analysis on that product, which is not difficult to do, and you see, oh, I'm going to have a 30% profit, and average is 32, by the way. And so out comes that profit. And then typically what we encourage our people is just drive that profit right back in. So it becomes like this perpetuating money machine to just take profits, drive it right back in. So the velocity is very, very important, because you don't want to send it in and it sits there for 9 months and your dollar is sitting inside a product, languishing in a warehouse. So with the local arbitrage, so you're going to evaluate while you're in the store. And then when you see that profitability, so you fill up your cart with whatever you happen to find in that particular shopping session. And then as an FBA seller, there's 2 different statuses. And let me know if I'm going too fast at all. I know this is a flood of information. Are you good?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm confused already.
Okay.
I have to.
Let's back up then.
I am confused. What I don't understand is if I can buy it on Amazon, if I go to Amazon and I buy Burt's Bees, let's say, right. the lip gloss, and it doesn't come from Amazon, it comes from a reseller. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct. And it's about, it varies from category to category. It's been upwards of 57% of the products sold on Amazon are third-party sellers.
And I know because I bought a lot of things on Amazon, and I know it comes from other people because I know the return address and so forth. The other thing is I have actually called a company, like I wanted a particular hair product that my hair salon recommended. And so I went and I looked at the bottle and I got the address and I went online and I found out where they were and I called the company and they said to me, well, you know, even though they would have probably made more money, they said to me, well, just go to Amazon, we're there. So they would not sell to me directly, but they told me to go to Amazon to buy it. So that happened to me 2 or 3 times. And because of that, what I do now, before I even call a company, I go right to Amazon and see if they have the product first, because why go through all those other steps? So that's kind of an interesting perspective from a consumer's viewpoint.
Yeah, well, there's a distinction there, and it's a big one. If you received it directly from the seller, that's called merchant fulfilled. And merchant fulfilled is the merchant will fulfill it and ship it to you. We do teach that method, but more prominently, we teach FBA, which means fulfilled by Amazon. And in the fulfilled by Amazon model, that's totally different. And you would not know when you received that package that it came from a third-party seller. And the reason is, so in this example, I buy the Burt's Bees, let's say I buy it at Walgreens, and then I ship it into Amazon as an FBA seller, and it's all tracked to me, the ID, my Amazon seller ID, but it's fulfilled by Amazon in this way. I ship it to their warehouse, and now I do that, and I am more likely to get my products in front of the prime buyers. And prime buyers are exploding right now because of Corona and the pandemic and everything going on. And I call it the spoil me rotten model, which is I like buying prime because I can get my products in 2 days, free shipping. 2 days, free shipping. Through merchant fulfilled, you pay for the shipping as the consumer. With FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, you as a Prime buyer, are you a Prime buyer? I'm going to guess you are.
I am, yes.
Yeah, it's over 2/3 of American households have Prime buyers. And so we like that model because it spells convenience. So as an FBA seller, I'm in a different flow of money and opportunity than I am if I were a merchant fulfilled. Now, they each have their pros and cons, but overall, we teach the FBA because Prime buyers can actually, there's a setting that you can use that only puts Prime offers in front of you, such that I don't want to see this merchant fulfilled stuff. I don't want to get it directly from a store. I want it strictly right from Amazon. So there is a setting in your own account as a Prime buyer that it will then only show Prime products that are delivered through FBA. So that's a little tip for the Prime buyers. And so for the FBA sellers, which is the main method we teach, it's just a whole bigger flow of money and likelihood of your product being bought through an FBA seller, because you've already said, I don't want to buy from these guys separately. So you'd rather have it in the normal treatment as a Prime buyer. So that's a distinction there.
It's very interesting. I think still a little confusing, because I know that there's a methodology to what you're doing, and you have to kind of go through it step by step. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting to me that, and I know you're going to say, oh, they can make a lot of money, that people really make money at this, because to me, it's you're going through all these different steps. I'm buying these things. I'm buying Burt's Bees from wherever, and then I'm shipping that to Amazon, which is a second step. Mm-hmm. And then when someone orders, they send it out, but they don't order. But they order through me, or they order through Amazon?
It's strictly through Amazon. So really the only responsibilities you have as a seller, there's basically three: sourcing products,
right?
Shipping products, which you can have someone else do that for you. I'll touch on that in a moment. And the last thing is you manage your store. You're watching the inventory and when to replenish, etc. They do everything else. And that's why I call it the spoil us rotten model for the sellers, because one of the most challenging parts of being a seller in the first place is getting eyeballs. That's Absolutely. A whole nother study. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So, I've always wondered, and now you're explaining it very well, how Amazon really gets all these people with all these different products to participate in being on Amazon. And you're explaining it right now. So I know you can't guarantee anything, but in your guesstimation, what would an average person make as this kind of buyer, this kind of person operating an Amazon store?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to speak specifically to the arbitrage method for your question, because we actually just put together a profit calculator for those who are arbitrage sellers. And the caveat is they've got to follow instructions. If people, they just kind of go off a beaten path and I just know this is going to sell, we're totally number centric. We don't care about if it looks cool or what, it's all data driven. So the more you can be data centric, the more you can stay on point to ensure your profitability. So ours with arbitrage can range 26 to 32%. However, we also have an expert trainer on our staff she was a professional seller for 10 years, professional shopper. And so she was one of those discount stacking queens that you hear about. So when she got exposed to what we do, she took that expertise where you have gift cards and reward cards and couponing, and she gets 50 to 75% profit. So it's kind of, there's a spread. And it's to the effort that you put into it. One, follow our training, and you'll land in the right, scope of 26 to 32% profit. If you layer in this additional training where it's extra effort, it's work, but you develop finesse as you go along, you can have much bigger profits, which she does. She gets 50 to 75% profit. And then you're right, never a guarantee, because and some people get sorely vexed, if you will. They're like, yeah, but doesn't it sometimes happen a product doesn't sell? It takes longer. Absolutely. Because Amazon can be an extremely fast-paced it is a very fast-paced ecosystem, such that in that scenario, what could happen is when you're looking at your phone and your data and you see, oh, wow, there's only 3 sellers on this listing. Well, hot diggity dog, I'm going for this one. And you ship it in, and a week later, maybe now there's 10. That does happen. I've seen it happen. And so when I tell people in business, it's always about the law of average. It's the law of averages, and that wins hand over fist, because I have people who have been doing this for 6 years in my community, you know, who have bought a new home, they quit their job, and they wouldn't be doing it 6 years later if it's still working. Because people are new to business, if they hear, oh, you mean one product I might take a loss on? Yeah, you just might. Go look at, go to Walmart with their great projections, and yet you'll still see a clearance aisle. Velocity, the ecosystem changes, the economy changes, a pandemic comes along, etc. But very, very reasonably, that is what our sellers make, as in our community, about 32% profit.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so let me ask you something. In terms of being a woman in business, are your clientele more female oriented or male oriented?
That's a very good question. When I came online in 2004 and I had my digital marketing, and there was no social media, you know, I mean, it was the old games, different world. And I had my name on my book. They knew I was a woman, but a lot of people went, is Ann real? You know, because there just wasn't social media. I'd have a photo on my website, but they still questioned. But nonetheless, that was pretty even, male, female. Now with the onset of social media, it's slightly more than women. I think there's probably a tendency that women like to follow women. And so I get more women. I know through my Facebook ads, I definitely do. And a certain demographic, 45 to 60, roughly. But I got to say, I personally like working with men as well. My team is a balance of men and women, my staff. But it's definitely not a challenge or issue. They have just as much respect for me, the men, as do the women. So it's kind of a non-issue, but I think social media has by default led me to attract more women.
Well, I was just curious too, whether or not many of your clients were more women than men, because I can see where this would be an ideal type of business for a woman who wants to either work from home or has kids and is in a situation where she doesn't want to leave them with a sitter, or even someone whose kids are in school, but she wants to be home by 3 o'clock or whenever they come home from school, or be able to take them to soccer or basketball or whatever practice they may have. So I would think that this would be a business that would really appeal to women specifically.
It's absolutely fantastic. And you're spot on. The woman I was citing, who has been the professional shopper for 10 years, she's now one of our certified trainers. She is the PTA president. She's got her 2 little children. And she said, these moms, they know she has a home business. She said, but they think I do nothing. They don't understand her world. But she can do all of her business totally online, because there's also online arbitrage. She lives in a small town in Texas. And so she can do all of it online. Furthermore, this model can be fully automated, as we have in our training up VAs to do all your online search for you. And we give all the training for that. And this works really, really well. And there are shipping centers, prep centers, who will ship specifically for FBA sellers, such that you place your order, but it's shipped to the prep center. So we have a member in Wisconsin who has a very, very large prep center for Amazon sellers. So my gal, she has VAs in the Philippines, and she uses a prep center. So I'm not saying it's totally hands off. She works on the business though, and not in the business, freeing up her time to be with her family.
Well, but you know, that this has been an ongoing argument for women for years. When you say, well, I'm working from home, they say, oh, well, can you pick up this and can you meet here?
Exactly.
Because they don't think you're doing anything and they don't realize that you have a schedule. And that's one of the things, I went from my very first business having 7 offices and, leaving my house sometimes 6:37 in the morning and coming home like sometimes 9 or 10 at night. And being in all these different places to now working out of my home, and but I'm still as busy, It's just
yes,
kind of busy, So it's very interesting how all of this happens. So how do people find out about you, Anne? I mean, what is it that how you do it through your Facebook ads? Is that how people know who you are?
Actually, we have a page. It's called the E-commerce Business School. That's our website, ecommercebusinessschool.com. There's some free training there. There's many case studies that we have. We feature our entire staff and team on that page as well. What really sets us apart, I'm going to make it really clear. There's loads and loads of Amazon training out there. But my interest is more about developing the entrepreneur. That's what I've been doing for 15 years. I homeschooled for 12 years. I ran a sports gym for 15 years. I'm developing people. And in this case, I'm developing entrepreneurs. So we're with them through their whole growth cycle as an entrepreneur, as an Amazon seller, because I used to teach online marketing, sales funnels, and all that. I'm in the people development space, and I have my big vision. My mission is the more entrepreneurs we can have in this global economy, the better we are for the culture at large. And I feel that all the more strongly because of the corona pandemic. So with that, our mentoring is very high touch. And I know that in my specific demographics, especially the women, I'm going to say, and the guys too, they tire of, there's a massive distinction between training, and this is taught. Oh, go create your digital training piece. And you got all these young guys. I'm just going to say a lot of young guys running around pitching their stuff online, but they know nothing about the personal, the people development space. Developing. Exactly. Yeah, I figured you would know it. I'm referring to, and it's bad. It's a littered landscape of a lot of failed relationships because these guys, these youngster dudes that are, I know exactly what's going on, and they get into this course. No, I know, I'll teach this and this, but they don't know how to work with people.
Well, let me ask you something, because we have less than 5 minutes left. I want people to know how to get a hold of you, and I don't know if you have anything, a special gift for them or anything at all. How would they reach you and find out about you? Now, you mentioned your website, but say it again. It's
E-commerce Business School. E-commerce Business School. .com is our website, and there is you can contact us. There's free training, and when you go through that, you also have the opportunity to then speak with a business advisor. We're very high touch. We're not one of these, you don't ever get to speak to someone. We want to talk to people. For some people, this isn't the right thing. We'll let them know. Others have loads and loads of questions. Bring those questions on. And yes, we have a free gift for your listeners. It's very extensive. It's the 5 steps to Amazon retail arbitrage. We've had thousands of people go through it, and we'll get that link forwarded on to you and make sure you have that for your listeners. What I like about that is I really believe it's to people's benefit. They get this big picture view of the model so that they, as well as the details, so they can make a well-informed decision. Because all too often people jump into something with little to no education, and that's why there's so many failures. And so we don't want that. We mitigate those failures, and we're constantly looking. For example, we have a 10-day accountability boot camp. Our members love it. Statistically, they do better by attending the boot camp than those who don't, because there's a level of accountability. But it's ecommercebusinessschool.com. I also have my Ann Sieg page. They can find me through Facebook. I'm on YouTube, E-commerce Business School, LinkedIn. I've been online for 15 years. So if they just look up my name, ANNSIEG. But the best is to go directly to our website, E-commerce Business School.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. Well, we have 2 minutes left, Ann. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you can get out in 2 minutes?
I just want to impress upon people. I love entrepreneurs. I have a heart for the small business owner. my heart really goes out to these enormous losses that have transpired during the corona quarantine and all that. There is a bright side for those who are willing to adapt and shift. And that's the number one skill of the 21st century, as Robert Kiyosaki mentions, and Paul Zane Pilzer, is the number one skill is the ability to adapt, and adapt we must. And the online space couldn't be better, and especially as a third-party seller through Amazon. And we teach you to expand beyond that as well, because I want you to be in control of your business. And so we move you through that whole gamut, that whole journey as an entrepreneur. So there is a better world ahead. I want to impress upon people. If their business has been impacted, my heart goes out for you. And I hope I can be of help to a lot of your listeners.
Yeah, there certainly, this is a perfect time for people to get involved with someone like you, because there's a lot of people sitting home saying, I wonder if my job ever is going to be coming back. Well, I have to tell you, my guest has been Sieg. This has been a wonderful, wonderful education for me. For those of you listening, if you want to go to my website, it's spunkyoldbroad.com. If you want to join my Spunky Old Broad Club, just go to facebook.com/groups/virtual SOB club. It is for women 50 plus. So if you are that, we'd love to have you. And Anne, thank you so much. I got an education today just as well as I hope all of our listeners did. And this is a perfect business for this particular time in our environment. So thank you so much for being with us.
You're very welcome. It's been my privilege.
Hi, this is Dr. Gayle, and I wanted you to know I have a whole bunch of other things to offer you. If you go to spunkyoldbroad.com, you will see an array of SOB stuff for sale and all our latest products and additions. If you're interested in getting on TV, I have a brand new course, Get on TV. And if you want to start your own business, you'll want my SOB Guide to Business Success. I know you'll love them all. I guarantee it.
Thanks for listening to Women in Business. I hope you enjoyed today's show. And if you have any suggestions as to who you'd like me to have as a guest, just email me at gailcarson13@gmail.com. Be sure to check out www.sob6tips.com. And in the meantime, go to www.spunkyoldbroad.com to see the resources I have for you.